Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Meta-Two NXT AfterShow here with me, one of your hosts, Katrina, and host and creative and cat we trust. And I'm here with my twin, my sunshine, Shay. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. This is a really good episode of NXT, so I'm excited to kind of get into it, honestly. How are you?
I'm okay. Not too bad. I'm a little tired. It's been I am tired. I think I'm paying for this past weekend, to be fair. But it was all worth it. My girl did her thing. I was very happy, and so worth it. But I am okay. And yes, definitely a super awesome NXT episode. Again, everybody's favorite duo is back for another. Hopefully we're not doing too many shenanigans today, but we might, because people do shenanigans sometimes on NXT, and then we have to then relay those shenanigans to y'all. But let's do it. So the first match we had was, and so this was pretty solid. Roxanne did have like a more edgy or darker version of her theme since she's now officially fully heel now, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And I mean, about time, because it's kind of weird to me anytime a wrestler who's supposed to be heel has like a happy theme, and I'm like, this ain't fitting the
It's a little bit out of place.
vibes, but okay. And so, with yeah. But with that being said, Tatum tried. You know, they tried really hard. She tried really hard. To be fair, but I felt like she tried to attack Roxanne. She was angry, but Roxanne was clearly the better in this. I think Tatum was a bit outmatched. She hit pop rocks into a crossface for submission. And this was basically like basically a squash. In the I think it was like 3 to 4 minutes of time. Um, and then Roxanne will call out Ava again, but Lyra will come, with her arm in a sling. But Roxanne will take the sling off and basically also put her in a crossface. And the officials kind of had to, kind of come and break this up. Um, and then afterwards, Lyra would go and ask Ava, or rather demand her to make this title match official for Stand and Deliver after she was cleared basically to compete. But good way to open NXT. I'm perfectly fine with this more edgy Roxanne. Like her being sweet is cool, but also semi understand to an extent why she's feeling away, because I was feeling away when it got taken from her in the first place. So I understand that. But thoughts on this matchup?
I liked it. It was short and sweet. Sometimes short and sweet is all you really need. I become more and more like in love with Tatum's like her movesets. Like I'm really into it. I think she has a lot of fun and cool. Like just the way that she wrestles is so unorthodox that I really, really enjoy it. I love something like, oh, you pulling out something I haven't seen in a while, or maybe I haven't seen at all. That's my tea. I love that. So I think she definitely got to kind of show some stuff off before Roxanne won, which I think that was obviously the correct person to win. I think Tatum will have her time. And she also kind of messed up things with Lyra at that end there. So now I'm like getting this feeling of one of them is going to turn on each other, because now it's like you're kind of costing her things. Like you're the reason that Roxanne was able to damage her arm even more, damage her shoulder even more. So it's like I'm sure Lyra's gonna have a lot to say about that next week, and it's just crazy. Stand and Deliver is so close. Oh, this match is gonna be so good. I'm just so glad. And Tatum, don't get involved, girl. Just let these two women work, because they are so, when they get in that ring, it's something different, and they have fantastic chemistry. So yeah, I enjoyed this segment and everything.
Hey, Corey, very sweet. Thank you for a compliment, but also watching. yeah, no, I definitely do feel like it's gonna be something. And if it's Tatum, I would not be surprised because I kind of said this, and I was like, it seems like everything is on the up and up, and it seems like Tatum is like so impressed with Lyra, but at the end of the day, these never ever stay that way. It's never the crazy, a little bit obsessive fan or admirer ever stays that. I've never seen it in wrestling history. It always at some point changes to something a little bit more sinister or more this didn't go the way people thought it was going to go. And so I do think I'll be surprised if it's Lyra, but I do think it's going to be Tatum, honestly. Um, and then, this leads us now into another, I feel like this is more of a segment, but basically this segment will be between Josh Briggs, Dijak, and Oba Femi. And so Josh came out to the ring to call out Oba for his vicious attack on Brooks last week. And so Oba basically agreed to fight Josh Briggs, which we all figured was going to happen. He said it pretty confidently, actually, like he knew he had it. And so Dijak will then come out and also put his eyes, I guess, or claim his shot at the title. And so this broke out into a brawl, which I felt like we all kind of expected this to be. And so I feel like this is obviously setting up for the triple threat that we're probably going to get. As this is possibly going to be like a power match. I feel like if anything, this is going to be a match to showcase these guys' strength and power. And so I wasn't surprised by it looking like it's going to be a triple threat. If this is done well, I guess it could work well for Stand and Deliver. Again, I'm not really necessarily a Josh or Dijak fan, to be fair, because out of the I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. I'm not a fan of Josh just because of I didn't forgive for his shenanigans with Kiana and I didn't forgive, and so I'm not. And Dijak just when you wear sunglasses in every room, I have to look at you with side eyes. I can't trust a person who can't trust us enough to take his sunglasses off inside. And so I'm not a fan. With that being said, yes, Josh did call Dijak a wannabe Shaft. And I'm like, so this is my problem with you, Josh, because not only have you been doing shenanigans since 2023, but now you don't know who Shaft is. I like see because I was hoping somebody would have just pulled out a phone. You'd be like, let's look up Shaft and let's look at this again, try it again. Shaft. Like how because like how did you even go? And if it's because it's the whole hard justice thing, all right, if anybody knows Shaft, then slightly revealing some of my age, but if you know anything how Shaft was, if you know the original version with Richard Roundtree or the version with Samuel Jackson, whatever version you know, Shaft did things his own way. That's what he did, and it wasn't necessarily like that annoyed me. It definitely was. It was a choice, as Davis Drip so nicely said. And so I was just like, I mean, okay, Josh, and this is why off that alone, I'm gonna need you to lose because let's get that together. Now I was already like, if whatever thread of hope I was holding on to that you might have won, now no. Now you need to lose off principle. Because how you calling somebody names you don't even know who the person is, like that's like if somebody, calls me like Oscar, you're gonna be like, what? And Oscar's amazing, to be fair, but you look at me and that's not who you should think of. I'm gonna have to give you a side eye. And so I'm just saying, well, y'all already know how we feel about Fallon. I feel like we said this last week. So yes, agreed. I feel like Justin is only number one. You got Josh, who's clearly I don't know what side of where he at, because that was just a really dumb comment. And I'm just like, I mean, I guess Josh, you know when they make the big dumb jokes like they always made in wrestling. You're not helping the cause, my guy. This is not helping the cause at all. You're not helping the cause for the big guys. You're not. And then we already know Fallon just can't mind hers, and so I feel like Jensen, poor guy, he needs a new squad. Somebody need to take him. He need to put an ad on I don't know, on LinkedIn or maybe on Craigslist and get new members to his team, because clearly what we getting is not correct. Um, but yeah, what were your thoughts on this segment?
I mean, I feel like last week we kind of were like, yeah, this is probably what's gonna happen. I'm annoyed because you know what it is about Josh Briggs that's really killing me is he's trying to pretend like he's a good guy. I can see that he's cosplaying as a babyface, 100%. Like, and you definitely took advantage of the situation with Jensen to find a way to get yourself a title shot. Like, I don't even. I already see what you're trying to do. It's so clear. Josh, I would have more respect if you was honest. Just say, you know what? I didn't actually care that he beat up Jensen. I didn't really care about that at all. I just wanted to, help him out and see if I could get a title shot. Say that, because that's what this is. And then Oba, he kind of is like rising up in my books every week. Like, he's kind of getting everything really quickly, I feel like he just has so much power. Like, he kind of reminds me of Gunther in a way of just like stoic, and just like his presence is him talking, but he's good with the talking. Like, he really is. I liked how he said, oh, Josh, you have courage, because you didn't say none of that to Jensen. That was rude. Where was his compliment about his courage? Whether he got beat up or not, he still had courage to do it. And Dijak also, Josh, Dijak is clearly doing a different version of Marv from Sin City, because he wears the leather jacket and he's the toughest guy in the room and he wants to fight everyone. Clearly, that is what he's been doing. That's what you see when his little name comes up. It's literally Sin City. It looks like the same graphic and everything. You could have said Marv, but you said Shaft. What's next? You gonna say Blade? Josh? Is that where you're getting at? Like, I mean, I know Dijak has a tan on him, but like, that's a white man. I just thought you should know that, Josh. But yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna be probably one of the best matches of the night for Stand and Deliver, 100%. Like, Dijak just doesn't know how to miss. I think Oba is definitely shown, especially with his match with Dragon Lee, that he can definitely put on a good match. And I think Josh as well. We've seen a lot from him, and they're definitely putting a lot behind him. I think he would do well with like a manager, or maybe like man. I just think he would do well with that. Maybe Fallon can leave Kiana alone for 2 minutes and join him. Maybe. I know that's a lot to ask of her, but maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that I think Josh is bad necessarily, because it's not that. It's just, when you're thinking between them and the Creed brothers, I would always probably go for the Creeds, to be fair. And just like, I don't know, I've been side eyeing Josh again since last year, because I didn't appreciate the shenanigans. And now you sit here and this was one of those I don't see color moments, because how you even, this is one of those I don't see color. We're all the same, and that's how we got Shaft. Clearly, that's the reason. That's clearly the reason. Because he saw Shaft, and that's what he said. I'm gonna have to be like, So maybe he was doing one of those. Like, I don't see color, and that's how we got Dijak being Shaft. Clearly, So there was a couple of segments after this. One being in the locker room, Sean Spears would pretty much talk about what he felt his thoughts were on Pride. And it seemed like Joe Gacy was kind of being a creep behind him with the weird, creepy smile. And I'm like, I mean, all right, personally, I can always, maybe it's just me being a New Yorker. I feel like I can always tell somebody's close behind me. It's always, I'm like, always one on, like, don't be close. You're on a train, and somebody gets a little too close and you by the edge, you're like, wait, let's back it up. Like, let's not do that. And so I feel like, hey, appreciate you always popping in. Even at work, dude. Appreciate you. And then there was also NXT showed a video from Ridge, who basically said he will go and do what everybody wanted him to do. I mean, personally, I didn't ask for anything, but whatever works, whatever floats your boat, Rich, because I didn't say anything. And then we also got Erin Grace did start her Miss NXT in training with Gigi, and that started. And then Fallon, as we did talk her up, did try to calm Jensen down, who pretty much said he felt lost. And then, because apparently she just can't, like, this is what I'm talking about with Fallon. And I'm going a just tad red. Now, your buddy tells you, friend, I'm feeling a little lost. And your response is to be, oh, let me help Kalani. And while I understand wanting to help Kalani, and that's a good thing to do, it's also like, you worried about Kiana James again and not about your guy who said he feels lost? He needs you, sis. He was asking for help. Okay? They say men speak when you feel down. He spoke. And what did Raggedy Fallon do? What did she do? Let me get in Kiana James' business again. And not that I want Kalani to get hurt. Let me be clear. Kalani's my girl. But Fallon, he asked for assistance, basically. But, here we are. So, what were your thoughts?
So I'm crying. So the Sean Spears backstage segment with him just basically saying egos and stuff like that, 'cause, that's his thing now. He's calling out egos, as he should. But Joe Gacy, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are you there? Why are you behind the cupboards? What's going on here? That's an odd spot to be. I don't know what that's going to be like. I'm wondering, does that mean that they're going to be kind of going into a program together, and what is that going to entail? Like, where does that go? Like, I genuinely wonder, because I feel like they're both going to drive each other crazy, because they both are just basically like massive trollers and provokers. So it's like, I don't know. In terms of the Ridge thing, I'm right there with you. When did I say that? I never said that a day in my life. I need to see the tweets. Who said it? Only one person said it. Say his name. You don't want to say his name because you lost to him last week. I get it. It's sore. It's sore for you. But nobody else said it. No one else was calling for it but him. So just be honest. Say, I'm going to do what Sean wants me to do. I know that's actually hard for you to say because you didn't want him to be right. But just say that because it's the truth. I never said it. You can look at my Twitter history. I never said this. The Gigi Ariana thing, I already told you I'm so excited about that. It's already making me laugh. Like the way that Ariana said, "Oh my god, yay, Miss NXT in training." That's so cute. I'm excited because it gives both of them something to do. And who knows? This could become an odd couple, not couple, but like, an odd couple type, tag team friendship. It could be really what Gigi needs, because I feel like she's been kind of like floundering in terms of like having a storyline that's really something to sink your teeth into lately. So hopefully this is really that for her, because I like her so much and I just want it to work out for her and I want her to get her moments. I really do like her. And then the last thing, Fallon girl, please, this is getting ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. So Thea needed help with Kiana. You there. Kalani needs help with Kiana. You here. What's next? Like, it's giving, like, obsessed. Leave her alone. I'm getting mad for Kiana. If you want to be her friend, just say that. But what I will say, Fallon, you was looking fire. Hair was blown out, okay? Freshly blown. She must have blown out right before she walked out the door to do the scene in the parking lot. And, I have to say, it's such a beautiful thing to see how freely people can be in the NXT parking lot since Roxanne took all the violent energy and moved it into the women's locker room. It's really beautiful. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, no, because the parking lot was a dangerous place. Like all 2023, the parking lot was dangerous. Like even early 2024, I was like, oh, like I could be walking there, gotta hold my bag, extra tight or something. And yes, I'm gonna have to agree here because to be fair, I am not a Sean Spears fan. Never was. Him being back, and I was like, oh, I guess Sean, if this is, excuse me, I guess other Sean, if this is what we want to do today at NXT, I mean, I guess I got to see him here every week. I guess. I mean, I don't care either way, but yeah. I mean, like, if he's happy to be here, I guess, Mr. Ego. Guess he had to check that ego at the door. Guess he came back to NXT. Clearly, his ego went. Clearly. Just saying. And yes, Tito, that Tito caught it under the bleachers. I mean, I don't know, man. The crazy people, just stay out of the way. Keep that away from me. But yeah, like I said, Fallon, while yes, her hair was great. I just need her, like, she had a friend in need. What the Toy Story said. What the Toy Story said. You help your friends in need. And she was not helping her friend in need. And so, this is my problem with her. She's have wrong priorities. Her priorities are not together. She does not have them in order, in no capacity. This is why this keeps happening. Like, every time I want to give you just a tidbit, maybe some grace, I'm like, no. And this is why I have to look at you sideways every time, Fallon, because he asks for assistance, and you're like, I'm going to beat up Kiana instead. You tell me I'm lost. Not like, oh, let's go have a drink. Let's go chat. Here's a hug. Something. No, just want to beat up Kiana. And this is my problem with her. She clearly don't have her priority straight. She needs scared straight in friendship. Get it together, because you're not a good friend, sis. Not a good friend at all. This now leads us to our number one contender qualifier match for, which I'm guessing will be for the tag team titles. And so, no Quarter Catch crew. Miles Bourne and Charles Dempsey would represent them. And this was against Nathan Frazier and Axiom. And then also, and so I thought this was pretty solid. Honestly, I do think, and this is just personally a me thing, I don't know, maybe if they're going to keep Nathan and Axiom together, can we give them a name, please? Like, can we give them some kind of tag name? Because they've been teaming up a bit for some time now. Kind of, let's give them a name or something. Like, you guys care. Make it like you care. Shawn Michaels, give them a name, please. Speed this up. Okay? Don't ask me, because I'm actually horrendous with names. But, let's do that. But with that being said, no Quarter Catch crew, they tried. Nate, they tried. Charlie, Miles, they tried. But they just wasn't, enough for Nathan and Axiom. I think, Nathan was able to do his Phoenix Splash on Miles, and Axiom was able to take out Charlie Dempsey with a golden ratio, and they basically won this matchup. I do think, well, Charlie did have really good chemistry with Miles. I do feel like they, there's chemistry there. And I do think Miles is really good physically. I feel like he's definitely pretty fast, and he's physical. That's good things. And I thought this was a really, really, really good match. I do. However, because I feel like they're gonna do this to me, it's gonna be Luke and Carl, who I didn't ask for to even be here again, and they are. And I feel like poor Nathan and Axiom is going to go down over them. And I don't appreciate that. And so it makes me sad. It makes me sad because I didn't ask for them. These are one of those things, once again, Katrina did not ask for. But otherwise, I thought, again, this was them qualifying for the one contender triple threat match. Thought it was a really solid match, but I was perfectly fine with the winners. And as of right now, the qualifiers is LWO, and then these two. So solid match in my opinion. What were your thoughts on this matchup?
This match was something different. It's something about Nathan and Axiom. Like, they have really good chemistry. Like, they just work so well together. And I feel like if it wasn't for Braun and Corbin being champs, I would want them to be the NXT champions. I really would. I wanted them to win even during the whole Dusty Cup stuff. Like, that's where I was. And didn't happen. I do think they need a name. Like, if they're going to be together, I do agree with you on that. But Axiom was on a different level. And I would love to see another encounter between him and Charlie Dempsey, because I just was like, y'all only touching the surface. in this match specifically. And I want to see more again. I do. That's just my thing. Like, Axiom was on business. He was like reversing Uranagi's into DDTs. He was flying everywhere. The man was on the ceiling at one point, definitely. And then at the end, he like caught, I forgot who he caught. I don't know if it was Drew or Charlie. Knocked them clean out. And then he posed like Batman. I need to get that clip because that was so fire. Axiom is so underrated, I feel like. And I really want to start seeing just more steam put behind him and Nathan, to be honest. Like, they are so consistent. They are so consistent, and they should be rewarded for that consistency. Constant, great matches every time they are on the show. They should be rewarded for that. So whenever Braun and Corbin drop, which I feel like is going to be probably after Stand and Deliver or Stand and Deliver, I definitely want to see Nathan and Axiom get that time because they just are fantastic. And am I just figuring out that every person in the No Quarter Catch crew is the North American? Oh, I'm sorry, not the North American. Jeez, the Heritage Cup champion. I was like malfunctioning actually, trying to say that whole thing. It's too many words actually. They should just call it HC for me. I was like, okay, so I guess someone said it on Twitter. They were like, so I guess Lash Legend, Jakara, and Oro were former Heritage Cup champions. Since we're just switching the rules up all of a sudden. Yeah, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. Don't do that no more. Stop it right now. Just change your mind. Stop it right now, because I don't like that. But yeah, that was my thoughts on everything.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, I know you like Baron and Braun, and while they do work well together, if it means less Baron on my TV, so be it. I can't. And so there were segments after this match. First one being that Meta-Four was having an argument backstage about Trick Williams, and they were interrupted by Alpha Academy. And then Maxine Dupree did challenge Braun and Baron to face Akira Tozawa and Otis next week so they can earn a spot in the Stand and Deliver title match. And we then had a segment where Von Wagner was trying to calm down Mr. Robert Stone, who seemed really upset that Von Wagner carried him out of the ring last week. Thoughts on the segment?
So let me get this straight, Robert. You're mad at Vaughn for looking after you? Like, that duo literally confused me so badly, and every time, like, they stress me out. They stress me out because I don't know what's going on half the time. I can't. I really cannot. Y'all do y'all thing. Seriously. Hand on hips. Just do your own thing. When it comes to the Meta-Four argument, I was very sad. Don't do that. Don't argue. I love you guys. But Lash, she's under the spell. Lick Legend is alive. Lick Legend is running wild. Okay. This is just the truth. So you know what? She's feeling Trick. I think there might be some shaking going on between Meta-Four. I don't want it, but I see the shakiness, and I'm worried. I'm very, very worried. Also, Lash Legend looked fantastic tonight. Like, that outfit, the hair, the obvious face. Like, girl, oh my goodness. And the whole Akira Tozawa and Otis thing is really random and out of the blue, but I mean, I guess they just, like, it just feels really out of the blue, but maybe they're just outsourcing with teams. But I'm like, why are you outsourcing? You definitely do have other tag teams, but sure, whatever. Do your thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely with you, and I know I didn't understand why Mr. Stone was upset. He's given Dia vibes because I'm like, my guy, what you thought was gonna happen? Like, you thought you were gonna do something last? Okay. Guess he was watching a different match. Guess we were watching a different match. This now leads us to our next matchup, which was the return of Sovoka versus Brinley Reese, who was accompanied by Idris and Malik. And so this just, this was why I feel like we've missed Soul Roka. Soul Roka is just so cool in the ring to look at. Like, she really is. And, like, just the level of athletic ability, just I feel like it's just something about the way she moves that I really appreciate and I did miss. And so this wasn't like I don't want to say this was much of like where it was a super great match in regards that you can tell that she was going off of Brinley, who clearly still needs some more time. But I thought, considering she did come off of an injury, Soul Roka looked great, and she still she's really fluid. She was still very athletic. All of that was really good. And even though Brinley tried, because she did, she would walk into the Soul Snatcher, them missing that, for some time. That's my move right there, and lost. And it seemed, that Brinley was a little bit less upset about it than Malik and Idris was. They seemed more upset about it. With that being said, though, Soul Roka did win the match, and unfortunately, after that, Blair would come out and basically lay out Soul Roka, which is obviously going to lead to their matchup because, Blair has been responsible for a lot of shenanigans that was going on with the women's locker room. She really was. And so now they're putting this feud back in place since that whole Nikita feud didn't really go anywhere because Gurley got hurt once again, as I'm going to just need people to accept that Nikita just needs to, I don't know, just be whatever he was doing before WWE is maybe where you need to go. That's just maybe because every time you're about to get a push, every time, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, okay. And so, now we got Soul Roka back, and we're going to get this matchup between her and Blair. So I'm looking forward to it. And yes, I think it's a fantastic looking move. I feel like she got more like fluid. I don't know. I feel like she was even moving better than she was before she got hurt, which is, such an odd thing to do with that kind of injury. But otherwise, it was it was good for what it was. What were your thoughts on this matchup?
I do agree. That is a awesome finisher. It really is. Like, for someone who just came back, it's like almost virtually no ring rust, or I can't see it, or she's hiding it very well. And then obviously she has that move that's almost like an attraction. It really is. Like, you're waiting the entire match to see it. Like, that's like, yeah, that's gotta be a top 5 finisher for me in WWE currently. Like, the whole, honestly, it's just so cool to watch, and it's so sudden. If the person that's selling it is not as obvious that they're waiting for it, then it's great. But if they're like mad obvious about it, I'm like, come on, bro, you're killing the vibes. But yeah, no, I'm happy for Soul to be back. I think that her and Blair will have a really, really good match when they finally get that. Hopefully it's set for Stand and Deliver. I think they only have one women's match at this point, and that is disappointing. So let's fix that, and let's get them on the card. Let's get some more women. At least I would love for it to at least be 3 matches. Honestly, that's just me. If you can do more, whatever, I'm all for it. But yeah, no, it was good. And oh my God, Blair, her outfit was so cute. It was just so like funky and different. Like, it gave me like real colorful, like 70s vibes. I was really feeling it. I just had to say, because Blair, you did your big one. And I was so glad to see her back. So I'm really hoping that they have a match at Stand and Deliver. Like, I really, really do.
Yeah, no. I'm with you there. We definitely don't have a lot of women's matches, so they need to get that together. And we got like what, 2 weeks, basically like 2.5 weeks possibly. So, but yeah, this leads us to a segment with Tony D'Angelo, and so Tony said he's going to win the NXT Championship at Stand and Deliver. This definitely got an eye roll for me because I'm like, I mean, I guess Tony, maybe the multiverse version of you could win, but not my guy. I'm Mr. Turtleneck. And then Ilya, popped up on the Titantron, and then he interrupted him to say that next week Ilya will fight Shannon Stacks Lorenzo, and I'm just like, I mean, I guess him telling, like him with this whole Dawn thing and this whole he's gonna do first. It was the nonsense last week with the bridge, where I'm like, I mean, I guess if this is what we doing, all right, Lifetime, this is what we doing. Okay, and now you sitting here talking about now he gotta fight a henchman. Get real. If I was Ilya, I wouldn't even acknowledge that. Like, that is even beneath me because I'm champion. Beneath me. I'm gonna need Ilya to get some backbone here in this regard. Like, you wanna get crazy in public people's restaurants, which you need to tell him to get out my face with those shenanigans, because I ain't doing it. It's not about what he wanna put people in place to fight you. You the champion, not him. That's what say so. You put little Tony in his little hat to bed, okay? Because I'm like yes, and Tony's chest too, and hits off principle. Hope he feels it like telepathically. I hope he feels the chest pain into his mattress Stand and Deliver. Because I'm like, you better calm down, Tony. I don't know what you think this is. I'm like over him sitting here acting like people be afraid of him. Okay, and if you want to get real technical, you worrying about what Ilya is doing. Somebody who's always dressed to the teeth, may I add. Get your guy Shannon some better gear. Give him some better clothes. That's what you need. You need to focus your time and effort on make sure your whole squad look great. Okay, imagine me having a squad and we don't all look our best. That's your squad member. Why he looking like he just came out of the gym? Or maybe he didn't go actually into, maybe he did a little bit of cardio, maybe. He did some cardio and was like, you know what, guys, would be great. Let me go get some fast food. Let me go get some carbs and pasta right after cardio at the gym. Those are the vibes. You need to ask, why is he dressing like he is beneath you? Like he's this far beneath. Like, I know you supposed to be in charge, but like he's not your squad member. Rise him up with you, my guy. Rise him up. Why is he looking like this? And I'm like, what's what you worried about? Worry about my guy when you should be worried about Shannon Stacks, not looking like he's part of the team. Okay? He wasn't looking like he was part of the team. Why is the other guy, Lucia, seeming more part of the group than Shannon Stacks is? And this was the guy you had first. How is he looking like he is the scrub that you send to get you coffee and donuts? Those are the vibes. And so that's what Tony needs to worry about. Focus on your squad, and you leave Ilya alone. You leave him alone. Because I'm tired of him with these threats versus Bridges. Now you taking the henchman. Get real. If he don't tell him that he would have got told to kiss my ass, that was me. But this is me. And so, I guess Ilya is a man of class. Because me, I wouldn't have answered. Okay, this is one of those things that the phone would have kept ringing. I'm not answering shit. Okay? Personally. That's all I'm saying. But what are your thoughts about these shenanigans? Because
yeah, I mean, it was a nice segment, and it's nice to see Luca Crucifino getting some time. He's really growing on me, so I want to see a little bit more from him to really decide. Are you on my list? But yeah, Tony, I feel like I really do like the presentation of the family. I do feel like Rizzo still needs to get a little bit, but I just like the presentation. And then also just, I feel like he kind of was eating Dragunov up a little bit. One thing I will say is when it comes to the mic, Tony is definitely he came in, he got the character, he got the mic skills. That's one thing that right away he got. Dragunov, it did not come to him right away. So it's normal for someone who it came to them easy to be able to kind of get a one-up on you in a mic off. I mean, Dragunov definitely said some stuff, like him saying how the title was out of his reach, and he's gotten so well with like how he delivers his lines. Like it's so yeah, Dragunov. I'm just so happy to see where he is today. Like chef's kiss. Yeah, I don't see Tony winning still. Even so, like I just don't see him winning. If he does, like I'm not gonna be like angry, but I will be like confused because I just don't see him winning. That's just like where my mindset it is at the moment.
Oh, be nicer to me because I'll be upset. Sean's gonna have to like he better not do this to me. Like don't put me. Don't mess up my April already with negativity. Don't do that. Like he better lose as he deserves. And then what he needs to throw over the bridge is Shannon's Stacks jacket. That needs to get tossed over the bridge. Okay, that's what he needs to do. But yeah. And so NXT then showed some videos of Lola and Carmen Petrovic, I guess, highlighting and showcasing their striking abilities, which I'm like, I mean, okay, I guess, if that's what we're doing. I don't know if that's something we need to see necessarily at that moment, but okay, whatever. And so this now leads us to the Heritage Cup match, where it was Drew, who is current champion. He was with the No Quarter Catch crew versus Riley Osborne, who was accompanied by Chase U. And so this was, so before this matchup, Thea and Riley did agree to be friends again, and she seemed to be her normal self at ringside with Andre and Duke. And so this was a really, I think, good match in regards. We got to see some really good showcase, like some athletic stuff showcased from what Riley can do. But I do feel like, and maybe it's just a me thing, I do feel like a lot of it did look pretty choreographed. And I'm like, I don't like. That's the one thing I sometimes don't like about indie shows. Sometimes is like if I can tell, like even if I know you're doing it, and I guess when you work backstage, you kind of see it, and so you know. But it's like surprise me, make me feel like I'm like, ooh, I didn't know, even though we do know. Like I feel like I should never be able to tell in the ring, and I was able to tell something. So I'm like, all right, you gotta clearly work this out beforehand. So he did get the round one. Riley did get the round one with a shooting star press. And then Drew kind of responded with like a surprise pin trap. And so JC would arrive with Jasmine to distract Thea. And I feel like Duke barely, I feel like Duke was there, but he wasn't there. Because I feel like he barely did anything. He was trying to, but he really didn't do much. He didn't do much. But anyway, with Jasmine pretty much getting involved, this set up Drew to kind of fall onto Riley for basically what would be the deciding fall. And so she basically cost Riley the Heritage Cup, I guess, if you want to call it that way. But even with, the moments that I thought Riley was good with, I don't think they had as much chemistry they possibly could have had, and I'm not sure if it's because it was like everybody's at the ring or because, JC and Jasmine was involved. But I do think, just in general, because the No Quarter Catch crew already kind of lost earlier, if you want to make them look strong, in my opinion, you got to make them win some matches a little bit clean. And I know they're like heel characters, but to make them look dominant to an extent, it can't all be this weird thing. In my opinion, there was in round 3 where Drew had Riley in the gulag into the end of that round, and I was like, all right, Riley, you hung in there. And so, yeah, that's basically how that match ended. I will add that Ava did give Thea her match with Jasmine for next week. And she also gave Duke a match that will qualify him for a North American Championship match at Stand and Deliver. So what are your thoughts on that match and those, I guess, what happened after the match? those developments?
I enjoyed the match. Riley Osborne was like, "Yeah, I heard y'all was talking crap, so I'm about to do the most," and the most he was doing. I love the little roll through into like a head scissors. I was like, "You better do that. You better, Riley." Exactly. He's just growing on me. Like I don't know what he's just like a Chase U kid, but like it's like what else? Like I don't know. I need something more. I feel like I need a little bit more like into his character because it's like he's just basically like a default Chase U student. Like I need a little bit more I need the personality and the character to be on the same level as the in-ring because the in-ring is fantastic. Yeah, I'm on board. It's just like there's no real like character or like anything for me to grasp onto. You're just a great wrestler, but that's not usually all that matters sometimes, in the grand scheme of things. Not all the time. And JC girl, like now it's getting annoying. Like mind your business. Go do your own thing. I don't understand. For someone who is so much cooler, you love to be in Chase U's space. You really do. So you really have to look in the mirror, figure that out, and let's regulate, girl. Let's seriously regulate because what's going on, honey buns? What's going on? I don't like it. And Duke getting the chance to all he do is stand around holding that little trophy. He barely lift a finger with the Chase U stuff. That really upset me because I'm like, you want to sit here with your little trophy, but you don't want to help nobody. I got you. So I'm like, okay, I guess, Ava, I guess. And I do love Duke. I'm just saying I didn't like his response time to things when it came to the Chase U gate, I didn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, not I mean, Duke has gotten on my nerves before. He definitely has because he's never around. I felt like he was a little bit of a hater previously, before that trophy. I felt like he took that trophy, and that is not his personality, personally. But yeah, like JC girl, and I'm just like, this is on Thea though. This is on Thea because if Thea would have used like this is sometimes they use your girl intuition. You gotta know when somebody is not a person that is friendly. And I'm saying this to you, Ron, because I saw your tweets earlier. I saw them. So Ron, she's a terrible friend. But yeah, I'm just like, girl, like you are somebody else who also needs to get some business as well, because clearly, what's happening? I don't know. But here we are. You know, I do agree. I think Riley do need some character as well, and I hopefully that he'll get that too. Hopefully, because it is like I'm like, all right, you're there. You can wrestle. That's cool, I guess. And so this now leads us to our number one contender qualifier match between Hank and Tank versus Luke and Carl. And so, you know, Hank and Tank started this matchup before the bell. I feel like, however, this played out the way we expected it to play out. To be fair, Hank and Tank did had, a moment where it seemed like they had like a bit of a hot tag. But Luke will send Hank into the steel steps, and they basically will then double team Tank, and so it basically was they beat them up pretty badly. It was pretty dominating to that point. And while they tried, Hank and Tank did try. It was a little too late, and as expected, Carl and Luke did win. With that being said, I guess as we said, they are the ones moving into that matchup. But personally, I just didn't care because I don't really like Hank and Tank, and I definitely don't like Luke and Carl. I can't forgive Chad, and this Chad in particular, I just know he has bothered me for years with his Chad shenanigans of just being a douche canoe, and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to look past that while you're on TV? No, a negative. And so I mean, I feel like we all knew they were going to win. I would have been very surprised if they would have did otherwise. But with that being said, I do think, and I know people are going to probably be like, oh my god, the OC, and what do you mean? they're pretty you know what to expect from them. They're pretty limited, in my opinion. And so I don't know how well they're gonna stand out with some of the other tag teams in NXT. But I guess I know if like I feel like if they even like Baron and Braun like lose and it's like them, I'm gonna have to be like, see, I went from bad to worse. Cause I'm gonna be more annoyed. Because I like Braun at least in that tag team. I like Braun, but like I don't like either one in them. And so it's like, so y'all give me no options. So let's hope not. But something is just I hope not. I hope it's just there for show, and then they get beat up and go somewhere that's not on my TV. But here we are. But what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Obviously, I wanted the Good Brothers to win because I just have an allegiance with them. I'm a fan, and you know what? Like, they just came in like, this is what it is. We coming to wreck, and wreck they did because they was beating on Hank and Tank as they should. Hank with that shirt, listen, like, who comes out with a cut sleeveless version of the shirt that they wear when they regularly just hanging out to wrestle? That really gets to me. Hank. And I just can't take it. I really cannot take it. I'm being honest. So for me, though, that was the right winner for me, just because of interest right now. And I mean, I don't know. I kind of see the Good Brothers going the whole way and winning. I don't know why, but I just see it that way. Like, I don't know. It just feels like that's where they're going with things. And so I'm just kind of like, okay, trying to see. And I do know, we have keep hearing stuff about Tama Tonga coming. And I mean, I feel like is a possibility of him being paired with them. Or he could go to know. But I mean, I'm up for whatever. And I'm happy things ended exactly how I wanted to end. So I can't complain.
I'm just saying, I don't say shoot douche canoe as often as I like. I need to bring that back into my vocabulary more often. But no, ever since that documentary and he was doing the absolute most, I was like, oh. And I just know. I'm like, see, you being a Chad. You are being how Chads are expected to act. And I just can't forgive. And so them, I'm just like, and I don't even like Hank and Take either. I'm like, this is bad because it's like when you don't know who to cheer for, so you're just like, oh, I don't care, and that's where I'm at. And I feel like there is the rumors that Tama is coming, but I'm like, let's not leave New Japan for a new beginning, and then you just ball him back down with them. Don't even put him in don't do that to him. Like, don't he left New Japan, okay? And he gotta come back to someplace else with them again? No. He's above that. And so I do think, unfortunately, we're probably gonna have BOC. They're probably gonna win, and I'm just not happy. And I don't even like Baron Corbin because I don't like him. I would never like him. But like I said, at least I like Braun. Braun can spare me some of my frustration and sadness. But DOC, yuck. And so this now leads us to the final match of the night, which was Noam Dar with Meta-Four versus Trick Williams. And so before the match, Trick did tell or warn Carmelo that if he saw him, he was gonna attack him. And Jakara tried really hard to have Lash Legend focus on rooting for Noam Dar, who is part of her squad. And while I understand, I feel like we've all at some time been in a situation where you like was being a little too quick with people we might have been talking to or dating, whatever the case may be, and we're like, we're not acting correct. We're not acting the right way. Like, our friends gonna be like, get it together, bring it back in. And so I understand. I do. We all been there. But this was a really, really, really good match. I was personally nice to see Noam Dar, honestly, in a match again because, it was the whole thing with the cup and then, with the team, and it was kind of nice to kind of just see him traditionally wrestling again and not, the Heritage Cup is like different set of rules. And so it was nice to kind of see him, do what he do normally. And so I thought this was really, a really, really good match. I thought that there was a moment it could have, I felt like Trick was going to win this, to be fair, but I felt like at moments it did look like Noam could have had it, and I say it did look like he could have had it. He had Trick on the ropes especially after Lash Legend distracted him slightly. And I don't know if that was a purpose on just more so it just happened to be that way. But Trick will do his trick shot, surprisingly to Noam Dar, and he will win the match. And right after Trick did call out Carmelo, but Carmelo was sneaking as a member of his own security team, and then it became like a 4-on-1 kind of beatdown of Trick by Carmelo. And so obviously we're getting close to the stand and deliver, so we got to put it back some emphasis. While the Lash Legend thing was super awesome and everything, you got to get him back his head back in the game because they got a match, and this is a buildup of months of stuff between Carmelo and Trick, so you got to get him back. And so I'm okay with it being that way. And I do think, to be fair, I felt like Noam Dar got more out of Trick to me than I would say even Ilya was able to do. Personally, I thought Ilya got him, but I felt like Noam Dar, and maybe it was because maybe it's size, that they're closer in size, that I felt like he really got Trick to really bring out his best. And that's always a good thing. And so hopefully we see more from Noam Dar, but Trick did win this matchup, and it ended the way it ended, with Carmelo beating up Trick. But what were your thoughts on this matchup and how NXT ended?
It was a fun match. I definitely enjoyed it. I will say, though, Noam definitely was giving him the business. When Lash tried to slap him, he caught her hand, and then Noam came out of nowhere with the German. I was like, exactly. Don't play with him, because they really be trying to act like he doesn't get in the field sometimes. And I don't like that, because Noam gets in the field. Okay? Don't play with him. But yeah, I was happy when Carmelo attacks him. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of more on the Carmelo side. Like, sorry, that's just me. I am a bad guy supporter. I am a bad guy apologist. Okay, I'm supporting their rights and especially their wrongs. All 2024. Trust me. But yeah, no. I enjoyed it, and I thought like his Trick's little promo before his match too, backstage, like that was fire. I thought it was fire. He just has so much personality. Like, it's insane how just tuned in he is. Even he was kind of rapping a little bit. I know, there was pictures of him on Twitter. He was at the battle rap, we know. So he was like, "Let me show ya what I heard when I was at the battle rap this week." And he did. I was like, "Okay, you spit a 1 and a 2, a 1 and a 2, Trick. I appreciate you." Yeah, but no, I did enjoy NXT, and I enjoyed how it ended, honestly. But I am curious to see where things go with Meta-Four, because it seems like there's a bit of a dissension right there.
Yeah, no. I definitely am looking forward to this match to stand and deliver. I think it's gonna deliver. I really do. Because it's been, especially with Carmelo, like acting like he had nothing to do with nothing, calling Brian Pillman a liar, even though he actually, when he instigating, he definitely was. But excuse me, Lexus King. Was he instigating? Of course he was. But also, Carmelo, you was lying, my guy. And I like Carmelo. I do. That's my guy right there. But like, he was definitely doing shenanigans. But yes, that is how we will end NXT this week. I thought it was a pretty solid episode for what we got, even with some of the shenanigans, like the OC being in a match that I didn't ask for. But we would like to thank you guys for hanging out with us. The super awesome amount of people watching. That's cool. But we want to thank you guys for watching and hanging out with us on this Tuesday. Shay, tell everybody what you got going on and where they can find and follow you.
You can find me at Shay Sawyer _ on Twitter. You can find me at Shay Sawyer Was Here on Instagram. And you can find a new episode of the Big Pop Theory podcast that just dropped today on all the known platforms for podcasts. You know who they are. Okay, I'm not with the list. Okay, I'm not with the listed. You can also catch me on Twitch occasionally, streaming, plethora of different games. Shay Sawyer, it's just Shay Sawyer. Yeah, and don't forget to support us in the chat with some slam chats as well. Don't forget.
I'd be forgetting to mention that. Sorry, guys. But yes, definitely support us on the slam chats. As to me, you can find me on social media in Cat We Trust. The E is a 3 on Twitter, TikTok, Threads, and Instagram. I do have some new interviews that I did with the ladies of WoW superheroes Women's History Month. Super awesome to talk to Candy Crush and Genesis of Exile. So check those out. And I have a new interview coming up soon that will be up, I believe, next week. So check that out as well. But just follow my YouTube because you can pretty much find everything I'm basically doing, or me on social media. But as always, we appreciate you even watching us at work. We appreciate you guys and we love you guys. And the Meta-Two NXT After Show will catch